MarkRogersTV and ProFootballCentral.com getting pumped for a huge game in the SEC in Death Valley Saturday night. LSU hosting Florida. Now, we talked about it all offseason. The best quarterback in the SEC is blank. A.J. McCarron, Alabama. Johnny Manziel, of course, Texas A&M in the mix. And also Aaron Murray, the veteran, the guy that's going to have all those SEC passing records in Athens, Georgia. How about Zack Mettenberger? Now, I'm not going to quite vote for him right now, but he's playing some exceptional football, delivering the football downfield on time, making the right reads and the right throws. 68% completion percentage, 15 touchdowns, just 2 picks. And the stat that really jumps out at me is that Mettenberger's averaging 290 yards passing per game. That speaks to his play delivering the football, but it also speaks to the offensive play calling by new offensive coordinator Cam Cameron, who's shown confidence in Mettenberger and who's opened up the offense as promised. This offense, I've got to say, was one that one of our viewers pointed out as a potential breakout offense this season, and I did not believe it. We ran a series on the best offenses in college football. We talked about Clemson and Georgia and Ohio State and Alabama and Oregon, of course. We talked to a few others, but we failed to mention LSU. He wrote in and said, talk about LSU, and we grudgingly did a video post on the LSU offense and said, yeah, of course they've got some talent, but this is not an offense that belongs in the discussion. Well, we're discussing the LSU offense. They belong in the discussion. They have 2 exceptional wide receivers in Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry. Hopefully, one of these guys does not get hurt, because at 42 catches for Landry and 35 for Beckham, no other LSU receiver has 7 receptions. Now, this is working right now, but typically a strong passing offense that is not predictable needs to spread it out to more receivers than Zack Mettenberger is currently, but he's got 2 great ones in Landry and Beckham. Landry, 7 touchdowns along with the 42 receptions, and for Beckham Jr., 20 yards per reception along with 6 touchdowns. But again, no other LSU receiver, including the tight ends and the running backs, with more than 7 receptions. Jeremy Hill, especially with Todd Gurley limping with the ankle injury, possibly will play against Missouri this week. Jeremy Hill, most likely the best running back in the SEC, averaging 7.5 yards per carry, 600 yards, 9 touchdowns. And the guys behind him aren't too shabby either. When Hill couldn't make the opener against TCU, Alfred Blue was right there. Terrence McGee was right there. Kenny Hilliard has scored 5 touchdowns. They've got a stable of running backs, but Hill is certainly, no question, the best of the bunch. And the offensive line exceptional as well, with Josh Williford as the best at the left guard position. All right, now let's talk defense. Now, in recent years, it's obviously been the defense that has carried LSU, going back before Les Miles to Nick Saban. It's been the LSU defense, but this defense does not look like an LSU defense. The front line not getting pressure on the quarterback, not stuffing the run consistently. The linebackers are not shedding blocks. They're not getting to the ball carrier. The secondary is blowing assignments left and right, missing tackles in the secondary. It was really bad against Mississippi State, giving up 274 yards to Mississippi State, not Georgia, not A&M, to Mississippi State in the first half. 274 yards and 23 points. In fact, if you go back to the second half against Auburn, then the entire Georgia game in the first half against the Bulldogs, the Mississippi State Bulldogs, LSU gave up 81 points in those 2 full football games. 81 points against those 3 opponents. Auburn and Mississippi State pretty marginal, of course. Georgia, one of the best on offense when they are fully healthy. They got better in the second half against Mississippi State and making a 5-point game a blowout. So they did play better in giving up just 3 points in the second half against the Bulldogs in Starkville. Some of the big issues, mainly in the secondary. You had Corey Thompson filling in for Craig Loston. Craig Loston's one of the best safeties in college football. He's a leader on the defense as well, and Corey Thompson had missed plays all over the place. Now, he did step up with 6 tackles to lead the team along with Layman Barrow and made some plays in the second half. Again, the maturation was quick for Corey Thompson as he made some plays in the second half, but he looked lost many times in the first half. What really decided the football game, besides the LSU offense putting it on the throttle, is that Tre'Davious White had a pick six early in the second half, followed by Layman Barrow on third down with a key sack to stop that Mississippi State drive. Then you had Ronald Martin, who broke up a pass on fourth down. So you had 3 consecutive series where players stepped up and made LSU-type defensive plays that we're expecting to see year in and year out. Okay, Tre'Davious White on one corner position is making just his 4th start. He's a freshman. Then you've got Rashard Robinson, who may be making his first start as a freshman. So you could have 2 starting corners as freshmen because Jalen Mills could be moved by defensive coordinator John Chavis to the nickelback position. So 2 freshmen, and the 1 freshman, when we talk about Rashard Robinson possibly making his first start, he didn't suit up for this team until 3 days before the season started. He missed all of spring practice, obviously still in high school at that point, missed all of August camp because he still had not cleared the NCAA clearinghouse. Talk about some youth at the corner position for LSU right there. So LSU and Florida, would love to hear what you have to say about this LSU football team that is really struggling on defense and excelling on offense. Not something we've been used to seeing at LSU in recent years. We're talking LSU and Florida. We'll be back to talk about the Gators next up on Mark Rogers TV and ProFootballCentral.com.